was, can you hypnotize animals? And the answer is yes, if you can immobilize them. And one of the things that our research has discovered, and that we will discover today when we start to practice this stuff, is that one of the key elements in inducing an hypnotic state is less movement, immobilization of the organism. If there is less movement, there is less sensory data, there's less input to the nervous system itself, and so we begin to withdraw, basically. We begin to shut down our concerns with the external world out there. So animals can be, if you can hold them, if you can immobilize them completely, using apparatuses, you can hypnotize them. They'll stay in that catatonic state after you let go. Chickens will do the same thing. Dogs, cats, other animals. Sheep, yes,
That's
exactly.
why I put them on their rear end.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll just stop. They'll just be like that.
Yeah.
Once you immobilize them, they enter into that catatonic state, that hypnotic state. Now, of course, it's obviously going to be a little different than ours because they don't respond to any suggestions. But they are in that hypnotic state.
They call that training, because I saw a guy that had his dog,
Yeah.
told him sit, he sat, he went, had dinner, and the dog was standing there. People were touching, wouldn't
move. Yeah.
Wouldn't move.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. So, yes. Okay, so we're going to learn muscular relaxation. Today we'll do progressive, and then later on we'll work on the differential. Those of you who were in the class, the seminar last time, this is a review because these are the fundamental skills. All right? These are the ones we have to know. These are the ones that lead us into the higher skill sets. Second, our basic definition, our operational definition of hypnosis is relaxation plus suggestion. Okay, it's not a technical one, and there, many of the people that we're talking about, like Sargon and those other guys we'll talk about next week, would have screaming fits about this as a definition of hypnosis. But for our purposes, it will serve us very well. Very simple: relaxation plus suggestion. Okay, we'll go through the appropriating your own space, because that will be part of a sort of a ritualized element that we can utilize every time in order to sort of create the space in which we're going to practice hypnosis, either with ourselves or with others. We'll talk about auto-suggestions and create one that we can practice with between now and next week. And then we'll take a look at, if we have time, we'll take a look at the Jacobson effect and more from Coué on auto-suggestions, the theory behind it. All right? Questions about this before we actually start? All right, skill set number one, fundamental skill set, most important skill set, progressive muscular relaxation. Okay? We're going to use, Jacobson developed this back in the 1920s, okay? And he was developing it from 1926 to 1931, doing other research, and we'll get into that later. But then he published, all of this is published in the scholarly journals, but then he collected it all together and published it in a book called Progressive Relaxation. And so his method took 3 years to learn. All right? And his basic technique was very simple. You'd go to him, the first day he'd lay you down on a cot, you'd pick up your left hand, hold it up there and say, that's tension, let it go, that's relaxation, I'll be back in an hour. Don't move. So he'd leave, come back in an hour and say, see me tomorrow. And then he'd do it with the leg, and then he'd do it with the right arm. So there were 64 discrete parts of the body that he did this to. So it took a long time to get through the whole sequence. We don't have that much time. So there have been progressively fewer and fewer elements to deal with as we moved from 1938, when he published the book, until the present. The next one reduced it down to 32, then they reduced it down to 16, I reduced it down to 8. Okay, so we don't have to remember all of that, and we can learn it pretty quickly. It actually works very rapidly. It's a very simple technique. It's a modification of an old yoga technique, an old yoga relaxation technique. So we'll systematically go through those 8 muscle groups. We will contract them and hold them tight, for about 5 seconds, and then we'll slowly release them. And that will trigger the relaxation response in that muscle group. Differential muscular relaxation we'll do next time. All right? Any questions about that? Okay, so let's go ahead and, yeah.
Is that what they're doing then when they do the sleep? Like you go to a sleep lab and they try to make you so you can sleep?
Yes.
That's the same type of deal?
Yeah, the same type of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
This, if we take a look at the outcome studies for all of the psychotherapies, we find one thing in common. If they include a relaxation component, they get way much better results. I mean, way much better. It like turbocharges whatever it is that they're doing. If they do what they're doing, whatever their method is, alone, it'll get a little therapeutic effect. If they add just a simple relaxation component like this, it will like turbocharge. I mean, it'll be like 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, 100 times more powerful therapeutic effect. Okay, which leads us to the conclusion that the relaxation is actually therapeutic. Okay, and that it is the core, or should be the core, of all of these techniques. And so what we have found is that over time, as these outcome studies were published, more and more people in the using behavioral, cognitive behavioral techniques, which started off with no, relaxation component with them, basically, because they just wanted to do the cognitive part of it, but it didn't work as well as it could. So they started to add the relaxation, then it started to work really well. So now they all include a relaxation component, almost as an afterthought, because they don't really want to say, by the way, we're doing this relaxation thing just cause, okay? Because they want to focus on whatever cognitive thing they're doing out here. But the actual therapeutic effect is coming from the relaxation, coupled with their cognitive stuff, which goes back to our definition. Relaxation and suggestion. Okay? Once you've taken a look at all of this stuff, there's only one conclusion to reach. There are two types of therapy, two types of psychotherapy. There's analytical therapies, like psychoanalysis, and there are suggestion therapies. So you've got psychoanalysis over there all by itself, and then you've got everything else, which is hypnosis. Relaxation plus suggestion. Because the cognitive behavioral stuff is just the suggestion piece of our equation. And once you add that relaxation to it, turbocharges it, you've got hypnosis, and voila. Okay, so that's what you're looking at. My colleagues out there who like to practice cognitive behavioral stuff, of course, would have a fit with this, but the research is there to support it. And you will experience it. You'll see. You'll see. You will feel it. You'll understand it. Okay, so let's go ahead and practice the first skill set. The first skill set is just the progressive muscular relaxation. And we start off with the feet. And we'll just progressively move up the body. And we'll just activate the 8 parts. The first part we're going to activate is the toes and the feet. All right, now we're gonna sort of make a fist with the toes, just curl them downward. Be very gentle with this. Our feet take a huge pounding. So go slowly. If they start to cramp, just let go. Just relax again. Don't make the contraction. Contract it as much as you can, and then just hold it. And we need to hold it for about 5 seconds to get like the threshold. So just count backwards from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just release slowly. Okay? Now, there are 3 indicators of relaxation. 3 actual things that we can feel. The first one is a sense of heat. All right? The second one is a sense of tingling or pulsing or vibrating. Okay? And the third one is a sense of heaviness. So concentrate on the areas that you've just contracted and see if you could notice increased heat, increased pulsation or vibration or tingling or one of those things. Later on, you'll be able to feel the weight as more and more parts of the body go off. All right, so let's do that again. Just curl the toes forward. Again, gently. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Just release that tension. Now this is a biomechanical method. It works all the time. For some reason, we're just designed this way. Tensing it and then letting go will initiate this relaxation response. So this works no matter what. This works if you're tired, if you're, whatever. If other methods don't work, this one will always work. The next group we're going to get is the lower leg, which is the calves and the shins here. In order to get access to them, curl the toes forward, like we did before, and then just point the toes outward. And you'll feel a stretch up here and a contraction in the calves. And just point them out as far as you can go without, pain, without hurting you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Okay? Notice sensations of warmth, tingling, pulsing, heaviness, whatever. You'll get more and more sensitive to those changes, to the feelings of warmth and so on and so forth. You get much more attentive to those, much more sensitive to those things. Okay? Next we're going to do the upper legs. So we've got the quads and the hamstrings. Curl the toes, point the toes outward as far as is comfortable, and then just sort of support yourself here and try to lift your legs. Okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Now there should be a growing sensation of warmth throughout the entire body now. We've activated the largest muscle groups in the body. And so they should be more relaxed, there should be more blood flow. There's an actual physical temperature increase here. You can measure it with the thermometer. There's more blood flow, more heat. The tingling and everything is because of the blood flow as well. Okay? The heaviness comes because we're always counterweighting against gravity. So as these muscles go offline, we can feel the gravity. Remember that your arm out here, it weighs about 12 pounds. Okay? Like a bowling ball. It weighs the same as a bowling ball. So, holding it out like this is fairly effortless for a while. But if you just let go, gravity takes over. Okay? So that's what we're overcoming. We're getting rid of this constant tension that's always there. We're always fighting gravity. And so there's always these residual elements of tension everywhere throughout the body as we try to balance against it. And since that balance is usually not symmetrical, we get kinked and we get torqued. Okay, and it pulls our spine off, out of alignment, and then it pulls our hips out of alignment, and pretty soon, we can actually notice it. So we have to undo all of that. We have to restore the natural balance of the body, and this is the way to do it. This is the simplest way to do it. This will restore the natural, relaxed state that the body normally is. All of you remember when you deal with young babies, all right, and they're just down there sort of, they're on their backs and they're just sort of, doing this, and you reach down, they'll grab your finger. Can you get away? There's no way to pull your finger away. You cannot do it this way. There's just no way. Physically, it's impossible. The only way to get away from them is to use the other hand and pry their fingers open. Okay? Now, how is that possible? Obviously, we're much stronger than they are. The reason why is because they're perfectly relaxed. And their muscles are just perfectly efficient. And so there's no way you're ever going to get free this way unless, the other way is to, distract them and then they let go and try for something else. But otherwise, you physically have to pry them open. Okay, we need to return to that natural state of complete relaxation. And so that's what we're headed for. All right, so let's do the toes and the feet. Yeah?
Don't we do that automatically when we change position? Like, for example, if you're sitting like that, that's a little bit tense.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we relax, when we change the position, do that.
Right.
There is not that tension.
No, but there's no sensation of tension, but you've replaced one with another. Okay? We theoretically, okay, if we're completely relaxed, we should be able to sit in this position without a movement for hours. Okay? If, however, we have to, cross our legs, move our hands, lean forward, do this, tap our toes and do all of this stuff. That is because there's residual tension deep inside the muscles. And so we have to get rid of that. It's there. You'll find it. Okay, you will actually locate it with this exercise. You will find it because you'll be contracting something and all of a sudden you'll find it. It'll kick back. And there'll be a pain. There'll be a tension. Okay? And so what we have to do is we have to eliminate all of that tension, all of that residual tension. That's why Jacobson took 3 years, because he was very thorough about this. And by the time they were done with that 3 years of training, I mean, they were completely and totally relaxed, even if you used an electromyograph to measure the muscular tension. It measured 0. And there's reasons for that. He needed it for his experimentation. We'll go into that next one. Okay, so just shifting position is not enough. We have to take control of the muscles from the inside. And we have to literally get rid of the tension. We have to stretch the muscles out to their normal length again and eliminate all of that residual tension which is there. Okay, does that answer your question? I mean, moving around does relieve the feelings of tension temporarily, but it'll come back in some other form. So like I said, we should theoretically be able to sit here. I mean, when we were in church when we were young, our parents kept telling us, just sit still. And we kept ignoring that because it was physically impossible. Okay? And so that's the state we should be able to maintain. Okay, completely relaxed and just sit there. Without any feeling, without any kind of need to move. Okay, so we've now done the lower body here. Now we're going to do the core, which is the glutes, the lower back, and the abdominals. So in order to sort of counterweight all this, these muscles, very powerful muscles, all link together at the center. So contract the glutes first, okay? And then contract the abs. All right, so you're sort of pushing everything together towards the center. And then just lean forward a bit to get those lower back muscles engaged. And hold that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Okay, again, feelings of warmth. If you do this, you'll actually start to sweat if you're like in a warm environment. Because that will release all of this energy back into the system. Okay, and it's biomechanical energy. It's real energy. It can actually be measured. You can feel it as well as measured. You can, can't quite fry an egg with it, but it is measured. Okay, next we're going to want to do the upper body, which is the pectoral muscles here, the chest and the back, the upper back. And to do that, basically just, make a fist, and then that classic Arnold bodybuilding pose, where you do this, you're going to contract these muscles, and you're going to feel the same contraction in the back, and just hold that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release.
You lean forward.
You can lean forward, yeah. What you're doing is you're just sort of giving your body a position where you can feel the muscles as they contract.
And do you breathe?
Yes, you're always breathing through all of this, yeah.
I forget to breathe.
Yeah, forget to breathe, yeah. Because you're concentrating, yeah. So you're holding your breath to concentrate on the sensations. You'll get used to breathing through all of this stuff. There's no real danger in holding our breath because there's not a lot of counterweight to this. If we were lifting heavy weights, it could create a problem because there would be a massive increase in internal blood pressure and internal pressure in general. Here, that's a very slight risk because we're only doing it for 5 seconds. But that's one of the reasons why we breathe in and out. That will relieve the pressure, the internal pressure, which can spike blood pressure. So we have to be aware of that. Which is why, if we were to do this and hold our breath and then stand up very rapidly, we could pass out, we could get dizzy. Okay, so always breathe. Breathing is good. Okay? All right, so that was the upper body. Now we're going to do the shoulders, okay? And the biceps and triceps, the forearms, we're just going to, again, that classic bodybuilding pose. Just make a fist, roll it over, and you'll feel all of those muscles contract. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just release. Okay? Notice the feelings, warmth, relaxation, tingling, and the release of tension. You'll actually feel that. Next, we're going to do the traps muscles, which, you know, go from here all the way out to the shoulder. And just try to touch your ears with your shoulder, you know, with your shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Okay. Now, we should be feeling much more relaxed at this point. Okay, things should be slowing down a bit. All right, now the last part we want to relax is the eyes and the face and the jaw, you know, the throat. So just scrunch up everything, close your eyes, tighten everything up, scrunch it up, and hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Okay? The eyes, the jaw, and the throat are the hardest to release. They're the hardest to relax because we've used them constantly for thinking. Okay? We think with our eyes, we think with our lips, we think with our jaw, we think with our tongue, we think with our vocal cords. That's how we think. Okay, so Jacobson basically discovered that for every thought, there's a corresponding muscular contraction. So that's the Jacobson effect. So these are the hardest to relax because that's what we think with. So that'll come later. All right, questions about this procedure?
Could we do it both in one?
We sure can. Okay. And it's easy to do this very quickly, about 2 minutes for the full thing. You can actually do it in about 20 seconds if you contract everything all at once and then just release it. Yeah.
Can you go from the head to the toes?
It's possible to reverse the sequence. However, you might try it. My suggestion would be to go ahead and experiment with it. I found, and I found when I taught this, is that since we're working with the smaller muscles first in that case, it's not quite as easy to learn or get the effect. Starting with the toes and the feet, we're working with the largest muscle groups in the body. So we have access to all of that physiological data, that sensitive.
I do it
Mhm.
myself, and
Yes.
then I feel the tension is moving out of my body.
Right, and you're using a different kind of a methodology there, without any muscular contractions.
Yes,
Exactly,
I
and
learned it from the, knowing the constriction and then relaxation.
Yes.
And now, without the constriction, I can relax my body.
Yes.
But I go from
Exactly.
the head
You
to
start
the toe.
in
And I feel it going up
yes,
my
absolutely. You
hand
feel
and
it going out. Yep. And in fact, there were competing theories at exactly the same time. I'll bring in the article next week. There was a woman psychologist who published a paper right exactly at the same time saying Jacobson is ridiculous. Okay, because we can use this method of imagery, okay, in order to accomplish the same thing without all of this, muscular contraction and all of this stuff. And it doesn't take 3 years to learn. Okay, so I'll bring that paper in as well as the original Jacobson papers, and we'll just take a look at that. So yes, her method and methods based on her work start here and then go down, okay? And we will learn that as well, okay? However, it is always a good idea to have this method to teach other people, because it's easy for them to learn, all right? Not everybody can imagine. It's very difficult for some people to imagine. So this, they don't have to imagine anything. This is neuromechanical. This is muscular. This is easy to do, okay? So that's why I always start with this. We learn the other method later after we practice with our, imagination and our memories and other things like that. So definitely, the other method will work, and it's very rapid.
I learned
Yes,
the
contraction.
and relaxation, contraction
Yep.
and relaxation. I don't need to do that because now I know the difference.
Yes.
But I want to relax my body.
Mm-hmm.
Then it is a little bit tension.
Mhm.
I know, I feel it.
You can feel it. Yeah, you're aware.
I can feel it.
Yes.
So when I start, I just go from the head, I relax my head,
Mm-hmm.
then my face.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Even I talk about it, going through
Yes.
without being, without talking, still I feel the same thing
Yes.
happening to me.
Right, and it works very well, and it's a
Yeah,
very
it does.
effective method, yeah, and so we'll learn that as well. Down the road a bit, we'll bring that back online. Yeah,
So that will work when we're gonna learn that about headaches? and stuff?
yes, absolutely, yeah, Yeah. yeah, headaches and things like that, yeah, all kinds of pain will be, the effect will be reduced just by simply doing this. Sometimes, you know, if it's a minor pain, it can be almost eliminated. Major kinds of pain, like surgical pain and things like that, require a higher level of skill. But normal kinds of everyday chronic pains, they can be managed a lot with just a simple technique like this. Okay, so one more time, very quickly. Okay, contract the toes. All right. Then point the toes outward. Then just try to lift your feet up and try to lift your legs up. Okay? You can do it by, you know, supporting yourself or just by trying to lift them up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Okay? Next, the abdominals, the glutes, the abdominals, and lower back. Glutes first to provide stability. Abdominals, just pull them back to meet the glutes, and then just lean forward and contract the lower back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Upper body, upper back, contract. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Arms, shoulders, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Traps, just touch your ears, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. And then face, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release.
Now we all have costs here, so we can.
Right, right. And that's what you'll feel like. You'll feel like, you know, basically taking a nap for a bit as you release all of that residual tension that's sort of hanging out. Okay? Right. So, this is the relaxation part of our equation. So once we combine this relaxation part with a suggestion, then what we've got is what we're defining as hypnosis. So let's go ahead and relax again. Let's just run through it one more time. Okay, contract the toes, point them out, lift the legs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Glutes, abdominals, lower back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chest and upper back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Traps. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then the face. Close the eyes and scrunch everything up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just leave the eyes closed. And become aware of the feelings of relaxation in hands, feet, toes. Just allow yourself to become more and more aware of those feelings of deepening relaxation. And then imagine that you are on a beach. A beach you remember, or a beach that you imagine fresh. You can feel the sand under your feet. Feel the gentle breeze against your face. Feel the warmth of the sun on the top of your head, the back of your neck, shoulders. Hear the sounds of the sea. Notice the children playing with the beach ball at the water's edge. Just relax and enjoy. And in a moment, when you're ready, you can leave the beach behind and return to normal wakeful awareness. Allowing your eyes to open naturally. Okay? Hypnosis, simple hypnosis. Imagery, auditory imagery, visual imagery, relaxation. Suggestions for the imagery to which you can respond however you like. Okay? Was there anyone in here who had difficulty?
I couldn't decide what beach I wanted to go.
Okay, yeah, sometimes there's a difficulty.
It felt nice.
But
How would I know if it was hypnosis?
this is hypnosis. There's nothing special about hypnosis. Yeah, there is nothing.
Oh, I see those people at the Blackfoot Fair.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the people, stage hypnosis is a related but different kind of a phenomenon. What you find there, stage hypnotists are trained to specifically look for people who are willing to follow their instructions in front of a public group. So they're looking for people who at that moment want to perform. And they will find those people. And they will bring up many people. They'll go through the crowd and they'll find the people that they want. And they'll bring up two classes of people. Ones that they think are going to be very responsive, okay, to their suggestions and their requests. And people who are actually going into an hypnotic state. And they'll bring both of them up on the stage. And then you'll see an interesting thing happen. They will run through an induction procedure very similar to the one that we just did. Something very simple and very rapid. The people who already know how to do hypnosis, or who are naturally hypnotic subjects, they will enter a hypnotic state. And the stage hypnotist will never talk to them again. They'll just stay on stage. Okay? The other people, the people who want to perform, those are the ones who are going to be up there doing what they want them to do. Okay? So it's not hypnosis per se, it is the demand characteristics of the setting that permit the people to perform in a setting in a way that they would not otherwise be able to perform, because they're given license, they're given permission to do things that they would not normally want to do in public by the setting, by the demand characteristics of the setting itself. And so that's why you see those remarkable kinds of responses.
However,
Yes.
okay, so however, and this has been several years ago.
Uh-huh.
We're talking several years ago. So he called up my friend, and he also happened to get her son.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so, and they both worked really well until he gave her some suggestion, and she immediately woke up and said, I can't do this, that's my son.
Right.
So they do
right.
have a way of
She
not
was-
doing
exactly.
something,
She
too.
was not willing to do whatever it was he asked
I can't
her
remember now
in
what it
front of her
was, but-
son. Yes,
Right.
yes. Now, as we will see, the people we're going to talk about next week, who are the researchers, the modern researchers, there is a group of them that believes that there's no difference, that hypnosis isn't real. That is, that there's no hypnotic state that's going on up there. We can get the same results simply from, simple directions. Okay? And so they've actually done studies and everything out there which seem to confirm that hypothesis. You can get hypnotic phenomena without the hypnotic induction. Okay? Except in two cases. And those two cases are always the test cases for real, quote, big quotes, real hypnosis. Those two test cases are pain and amnesia. okay? There is no way that a stage hypnotist will be able to take somebody on stage and, unless they are really hypnotized, really in a deep trance, be able to cause pain to that person. Okay? Demand characteristics do not permit that level of control. All right? Simulation of a hypnotic state does not permit that level of control. There's a lot of studies out there using really good simulators. That is, people who can mimic hypnotic states because they're good hypnotic subjects and real hypnotic subjects. And you stick them in most situations and nobody can tell the difference between the two. However, you put them in a pain management situation where they're using, usually they like to use cold pressor pain. They stick their arm into a vat of freezing water. After about 30 seconds, it really starts to hurt. It doesn't do any damage, but it hurts. Okay? The simulators can only do it for about 30 seconds, and then they must remove their arms. The people who are really in a hypnotic trance state, they can leave it there for a long time. Okay, so those are the two test cases. And so when we talk about real hypnotic phenomena, real hypnosis, real hypnotic states, that's the one we always go to. There is no simulator on this planet who could undergo major surgery without anesthetic. No simulator anywhere who could do that. Yet, we have the phenomena that Dr. Esdale performed, and I've actually seen it live, that hysterectomy. The subject was a really good subject. She was really good. And, I mean, from beginning to end, no anesthetic, no pain medication, no nothing, just hypnosis. That's an invasive surgical procedure. No simulator could do that. Okay, so that's where we're now at the edges of this whole thing. Okay, so there isn't anything special about hypnosis because we can all do it.
I guess I was expecting more of a going under state.
Well, you'll get to that level. That is, and sometimes you don't have that, sometimes you do. More advanced, not more advanced, more people who practiced it and are more skilled at it, they can go into those deeper levels of trance, and we'll get there. By the end of the seminar, you'll get there. Because we'll just, by stages, we'll learn how to go there. Okay, yeah?
Is acupuncture, in a way, is that a type of hypnosis
Yeah,
too?
it's very closely related. All of these kinds of things are very closely related. Yeah, acupuncture is, well, the theory that they're using is the old, very ancient theory of energy channels, meridians. Okay, and so basically for pain, they've got a set of meridians that they would manipulate. Now, if you take a chart of trigger points and you overlay it on top of the acupuncture chart for pain points, there is a 92 to a 94% correspondence. Yeah. So Dr. Melzak, who's one of the premier pain specialists out of Canada, he had the same idea that you did. He said, hey, these seem to be related. So he actually did that. He actually went, and did that. And there's that correspondence right there. Just for pain, not for the other acupuncture kinds of applications. So what they're doing is they're manipulating the energy channels to use their model. And correspondingly, there are these trigger points that have developed along those meridians. And so by inserting the needle at exactly that point, they can release the trigger point. And thereby free up the energy to move along the meridian. I mean, it makes perfectly good sense even from our modern standpoint.
And then how much of that then, is there a mental component to that too?
Always a mental component. There's nothing we do that doesn't have a psychological aspect.
So
Okay.
if a person thinks that the acupuncture is going to work, then that's a big part of it.
It helps.
too?
It
Yeah,
definitely
okay.
helps. Yeah, there was a huge study done in 1959 on the placebo effect and its relationship to medications in general. Big study, massive study. And what they did was they wanted to see just exactly how powerful the placebo effect was. So they took placebo tablets, and they all looked alike. And if they told the person that it was aspirin, they would get an aspirin effect. If they told the person it was codeine, they'd get a codeine effect. If they told the person it was morphine, they'd get a morphine effect, even though it was the same, placebo pill. So then they said, okay, now let's test the other side of that. Let's actually give them morphine and tell them it's aspirin. Let's give them morphine and tell them it's a placebo. And what they discovered was that it works the other way too. They've actually taken real morphine and yet they're still in pain because they think it's a placebo. So the mental aspect, they said, based on, some, it's statistically very difficult to kind of analyze this kind of stuff. But they said anywhere from about, 30% up to about 70% of any given effect as placebo can be attributed to placebo effect. So if you can harness that, you can then, expand the effectiveness of medications and other procedures if you can harness the placebo effect. That's what we believe, expectancies. What they're using now is they're moving away from placebo and talking about expectancy sets. If we can create an expectancy set, that somehow seems to literally modify the way that the body functions. So it'll produce endorphins that mimic morphine if it thinks it's a morphine tablet. It will block the actual effect of the morphine if it thinks it's a placebo. So there's a physiological thing going on there. Like I said, this thing is way intelligent. It's very smart. Yeah.
So the brain is the generator, right?
The brain.
The brain does give all of the orders.
All of the orders, yes, yeah. The central nervous system here,
Yeah.
which is the brain itself and its three major structural parts, and then the spine.
That's fine.
That's the central nervous system, because the spine acts as like a gating mechanism.
Yeah.
So it's part of this whole thing. And then from the spine outward is the peripheral nervous system, which communicates outward and receives sensory data inward. So this is the nervous system itself, and that's what we're talking about here. Somehow the nervous system itself modifies all of its responses all up and down the channels.
That's why you say if you think you are well, you are well.
Yes, exactly. And the placebo effect, like the study said, it has, it does have that. Now, there are limits. Okay, if you jump off the Empire State Building, I don't care how much you believe you can fly. It's not going to happen. Okay, but within the limits of what the organism can physically do, we can modify it through suggestion. Okay, we can't change the laws of physics, but we have a huge amount of impact on this at a molecular level. Okay, and that's the basis of psychosomatic medicine, because Freud, the psychoanalysis, saw this. Said, look, there's all of these things going on psychologically that seem to have a physiological effect on the body. And that was the origin of psychosomatics. So in 1937, they formed the Psychosomatic Society and began to publish the journal. And it's just fascinating the kinds of research they've done. And it does. What we think has a massive impact on how the body performs.
But part of that is related to those people that they jump, they think they're going to be okay. They have something wrong in their head.
No, what?
Some stuff is not working right.
Well, if they were actually to leave. I'm saying that even if we had a very powerful belief that we could leap off the Empire State Building, that placebo effect would not be enough to overcome the force of gravity.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we wouldn't jump.
No, we wouldn't. We would know better.
But there is some people
Yes.
that they jump.
Absolutely. There are some people that
So there
are...
is something
Yeah.
going on in their
Absolutely.
brain that
There's something happening.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it. We're over about 5 minutes, so we will meet here next week and we'll just continue. We'll do a little bit more of the theory and we'll do more practice. Okay? Anything before we go? All right, good. Thanks. All right, see you next week. Say hi to your wife.
Okay,
Yeah, tell her we miss her.
all right.